Last time on Dungeons and Kuroninja, our main characters entered the Konoki forest and fought off some redcaps. After that, the road to the ruins was blocked and none of them could find any other path. Fortunately, some forest rangers showed up and helped guide them to an unblocked path to the ruins. But just as it looked like the party was finally getting close to their goal, Don Kuroninja's underboss showed up to fight them. And that's where our story begins. Standing between the party and the entrance to the ruins is Liliana Nightshade, the underboss of Don Kuroninja's interdimensional crime syndicate. It looks like everyone's ready to go into a fight, but then KN steps in. He tells his teammates that Liliana is one of the most powerful members of Don Kuroninja's organization, and she's not like the other enforcers, who weren't that strong. KN wants to solve this diplomatically. KN pleads with Liliana to let him and the rest of the party go through the ruins, and in return, after finding the miracle shard, the party will do something for Don Kuroninja. This is a very risky deal, so let's roll to see what the risk is if the party does decide to follow KN's plan. One party member might end up losing something if the party agrees to make a deal with Don Kuroninja's organization. I think the one with the most to lose from this is Mayu Sakuragi. If word got out that she was working with a criminal organization, she can kiss her membership in the First Legion goodbye. Justifiably, Mayu is the most concerned about this deal, but Ryuga assures her that all she has to do is make sure that no one finds out. After that, KN goes through the deal again and asks Liliana what she thinks. Is she satisfied with this deal? Liliana doesn't say anything, so we have no idea if she likes the deal. She tells KN that she'll have to speak with Don Kuroninja about it and leaves. Now that the underboss has been dealt with, it's time to enter the ruins. As the party enters the ruins, they realize that the map they have is only a map of the Konoki forest. It has no information about the inside of the ruins. Rei checks her book to see if it has any information on whatever's in the ruins. Unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any. The party will need to rely on their own intuition while exploring the ruins, but Ryuga finds a passage and leads everyone through it. Let's see what awaits them on the other side. While walking through the halls, Ryuga comes across a mural. Rei recognizes the symbols in the mural. They are the same as in her Book of Forbidden Knowledge. The mural depicts a group of 4 sages who created the miracle shard centuries ago by collectively channeling the energy of a god-tier idol. Another mural on the other side of the wall shows the 4 sages, but they are also in transformed forms. One of them looks like the transformed form of Rei Shirasaka when she does her dark metamorphosis, and another looks like the mysterious knight that the party has encountered. Rei will make an arcana check to try and interpret what the mural is supposed to depict. Rei Shirasaka recognizes some of the symbols. She tells the rest of the party that the image on the wall is supposed to represent dark metamorphosis, a secret technique only known by practitioners of the dark arts. The 4 sages depicted in the mural are examples of such practitioners, and Rei believes that one of them is her ancestor, which means that the knight who works for Omega Orionis might also be a descendant of the 4 sages too. Let's see what happens in the next scene. The party enters the next room, which contains floating statues of some kind of unknown entity. No one knows what these statues are, and not even rolling a nat 20 on a knowledge check will help with this. No one in the party, not even Rei, knows the purpose of these statues, but everyone remains cautious. They walk past the statues and enter the next room. In the next room, Ryuga finds a magic longsword. He picks it up, and it turns out that this is a +1 longsword. Ryuga takes the longsword, now having a better weapon. Not only that, but Mayu finds something on a nearby stone table. It is a stone tablet that looks almost like a map, and this map has the exact location of the miracle shard. With this map, the party is able to walk through the seemingly safer areas of the ruins and find the miracle shard. But now that the party has almost reached the miracle shard, will the scene go as expected? The scene goes almost as expected. Right before reaching the room with the miracle shard, someone has activated one of the statues. This statue is shaped like a large humanoid, and there's a ball of glowing red light where its face should be. This construct seems to be hostile, because it's guarding the only entrance to the miracle shard. I guess we'll have to roll initiative. Okay, so this construct is called a Thanatolith Alpha. It was created to guard the ruins and stop any intruders from getting their hands on the miracle shard, but all of them have been asleep for a very long time, and this one only just got activated. Mayu and KN will go before it, and Rei and Ryuga will go after. Before we begin, each of the Thanatoliths have an ability that activates whenever someone makes eye contact with them. There's a chance we'll see it in action, but let's begin. Mayu goes first and charges at the Thanatolith, ready to swing with her claymore. After moving closer, she gazes glances right at the red orb floating where the head is, and she senses a feeling of anger about to take over. The feeling of anger then disappears and Mayu swings her claymore at the Thanatolith. With her claymore, Mayu swings very hard and immediately cuts the Thanatolith in half. The red orb disappears as the construct crumbles into chunks of stone. The others are impressed and ask Mayu how she did it. Mayu says that she felt a surge of anger flow through her for some reason, but she was able to stay in control. The party heads over to the next room, which has the miracle shard inside. Inside the room, the miracle shard is at the center, hovering over a stone pedestal and surrounded by two statues. One of them floats in the air and the other looks like some kind of four-legged creature. But there is someone already in the room. It's Selene Tsukino. Rei is very surprised to see Selene Tsukino because the two of them know each other. Rei asks Tsukino what she's doing in the temple, and she says that she's only trying to find the miracle shard first to prevent Omega Orionis' forces from getting the upper hand. However, Rei sees through her lies because here's the thing. Rei has known who the knight is all along, but she hasn't told the party yet. But now she has no choice because she's not letting the power of the miracle shard fall into the hands of anyone else, especially not another dark sage. Tsukino is disappointed that Ryuga, Mayu, and Keien would team up with someone like Rei and says not to believe anything she tells them. But Ryuga says that right now, his mission is to stop Omega Orionis, and since the mysterious knight works for him, it means that he can't afford to have Rei as an enemy. Tsukino sighs and decides to reveal herself as the knight. She gets out her sword and calls out, "Dark Metamorphosis." As the sword leaves its sheath, a cloud of dark fog engulfs Tsukino, and when it clears up, she is in her transformed form. Tsukino then activates the two statues, which turn out to be Thanatoliths, and then she opens up a rift and leaves through it. These two Thanatoliths are Thanatolith Beta and Thanatolith Sigma. The Beta one has a blue orb on its face, and the Sigma one has a gray orb on its face. Once again, it's time to roll initiative. Okay, it looks like the Sigma Thanatolith will go first. It looks directly at Mayu, who must now make a fortitude save just like last time. Mayu looks directly at the glowing silver orb in the four-legged construct's face and feels enthralled by it. She is so enthralled by the orb that she is now stunned. The Thanatolith then charges forward and attacks Mayu twice. The Thanatolith slashes its claws through Mayu's armor, dealing a lot of damage, and all Mayu can do is watch. Rei feels pity for Mayu, so she fires an Eldritch Blast at it. Rei successfully fires her shot at the Sigma Thanatolith, dealing a lot of damage to it. Meanwhile, Keien fires a shot from his crossbow at the Beta Thanatolith. The shot hits the Thanatolith, which turns around and looks directly at Keien with its glowing blue orb. Keien feels a chilling sensation, and he must now make a fortitude save with a DC of 12. Keien is now frightened of the Thanatolith, but its turn isn't over yet, and it fires two air needles at Keien. One of the needles hits Keien right in the chest while the other misses. It doesn't matter though, because the Beta Thanatolith has already hit its target. Ryuga has no ranged weapons, so he charges at the Sigma Thanatolith and swings with his new +1 longsword. Ryuga swings his longsword and takes the Sigma Thanatolith down. Now there's only one left, and it's the Beta Thanatolith flying in the sky. Mayu is stunned, so she doesn't do anything, but next turn the effects of the stun will wear off. Rei sees that the Sigma Thanatolith has been defeated, so she turns her attention over to the Beta one and fires an Eldritch Blast at it. The beam of energy goes past the Thanatolith and hits the ceiling. Keien moves away from the Thanatolith and fires a crossbow bolt with disadvantage. Unfortunately, it's a critical miss. Keien is so scared of whatever he saw when staring into the blue orb that he completely lost focus and fired his crossbow bolt on the floor. The Thanatolith fires two air needles, one at Keien and one at Rei. The Thanatolith shoots at Keien and Rei. Keien blocks the needle headed for him, but Rei isn't fast enough and takes damage. She then looks up and sees the blue orb on the Thanatolith's face, and now she must make a fortitude save. Rei has rolled a natural 1 and she is now frightened. As for Keien, the effect has worn off for him. Ryuga can't really do anything because he doesn't have any ranged weapons, so he passes his turn and Mayu goes over to Keien and heals some of his hit points. After being hit by the air needle, Rei takes a few steps back and fires another Eldritch Blast. Will this be the one to finish the fight? Rei fires a shot directly at the Thanatolith, which starts smoking. It is almost defeated. It's up to Keian to finish this with his crossbow. He fires a shot right at the Thanatolith, and the glow has no effect on him this time, because he's doing it from a further distance. Keian's crossbow barely manages to pierce through the stone shell of the Thanatolith, but it still hits. The Thanatolith's blue orb fades out, the stone construct falls to the ground, and smashes into pieces of rubble. Mayu Sakuragi uses her Healing Hands ability to heal herself. Selene Tsukino was planning to leave the party to die in the ruins at the hands of its guardians, but that plan obviously backfired. Now the Miracle Shard is in the hands of the party, and all they have to do now is climb to the top of Mount Pandora and stab it into the center. Ryuga takes the Miracle Shard and decides that he will be the one to carry it. The party leaves the ruins with the Miracle Shard, ready to continue their quest by heading towards Mount Pandora. But then Liliana Nightshade appears and reminds the party about that deal they made with her. She opens a rift and tells the party to follow her through it. It looks like next time, the party will be doing something for Dungeons Kuroninja, a small roadblock in their quest. What will they have to face in this mission? We shall find out in the next episode of Dungeons and Kuroninja.